Okay, guys, so let's begin the process now. Um, okay, so when it comes to my experience, I'll be a faculty for the Azure Data Engineering, and my name is Samir. Okay, so I have around 10 years of experience in IT, and around 4 years into the clouds. Okay, 4 years into the clouds. So let's begin the process here, guys. Okay. So first of all, let us see what is an Azure Data Engineering. So I'm going to start it from the scratch level, guys. Everyone, I'm going to start it from the scratch level. So I'm using Azure Data Engineering. Okay, everyone. So the Azure Data Engineering. That means what? Azure is nothing but it is the name used by the Microsoft to market their cloud services. That means this Azure is the name used by the Microsoft. Azure is the name used by the Microsoft to market their cloud services. So whenever, guys, whenever they wanted to, yes, everyone, whenever they wanted to, or whenever the Microsoft has thought of, okay, launch the service for the clouds, okay, so they have used the name as what? Azure. Instead of using the Microsoft, they are using the name called what? Azure. Information. Data means what? Information. And now when it comes to this engineering, engineering is nothing but what? Technique. Various techniques. So in broad, we can say that application of techniques on the data. Okay, guys, application of techniques on the data using the Microsoft Azure. Using what's that? Microsoft Azure. So we can say that application of techniques on the data, guys, application of techniques on the data by using the Microsoft Azure. By using the Microsoft Azure. That's it. So now, guys, what exactly the thing you have in Azure Data Engineering? The Azure Data Engineering is a complete end-to-end services. Hello? Yes, somebody wants to say something? Okay. So Azure Data Engineering is a complete end-to-end service which provides the following. What is it, guys? And service, guys, it provides the complete end-to-end service where the following task we can achieve it. So then what we can say, the Azure Data Engineering is a group of cloud services, which is used to perform the following tasks. What are those tasks? That is called as what? The first one is data migration, comma, data integration, data migration. Then we have the data integration. Okay, guys. Data migration, data integration. Then you have data summarization. Then we have the data visualization. So these are all the, yes, guys, these are all the services we have it. What is it? Data migration, data integration, data summarization, and as well as the data visualization services. Okay. So what are the services we have it? What are these as why these are used? In which situation we use it? So for that, let's come to an example here. Let's start with the what is a cloud, first of all. Let's try to understand what is a cloud and what is on-premises. What is a cloud and what is on-premises? Let's try to understand this, guys. What is a cloud and what is on-premises? These are the two different things we have it. What is a cloud and what is on-premises. Let's try to understand this first. So first of all, when we talk about this, guys, okay, what is a cloud first of all? Okay, or what is on-premises? Let's try to understand these 2 points. If you understand these 2 points, you can understand everything. Okay, so guys, let's take an example here. A mobile phone. Okay, a mobile phone. First of all, see, whenever you wanted to buy a mobile phone, everyone, what is it we choose? Yes, everyone, please tell me. Guys, this session should be interactive. Rather than me talking on the side, you can just interact it. Yes, tell me. What do you understand when I'm using the word called buying a mobile phone? Or what do you think about this? Buying a mobile phone. Whenever you buy a mobile phone, what is that you do? You go to the shop and ask the shopkeeper to show you the particular brand mobile phone. That is, it can be any brand, guys. It can be any brand. Any brand in the sense it can be the, it can be any brand. That is nothing but Samsung or Apple or any other. Okay. So whenever you buy a mobile phone, what are the features you choose it, guys? Mostly the storage capacity of a mobile. Let us say you bought a mobile phone with 100 GB, 100 GB as the storage capacity, followed by 8 GB as the RAM, followed by 8 GB is the RAM. That means what? The processing speed is 8 GB and the storage capacity is 100 GB. That means up to what extent you can store the data into the mobile phone? You can store up to the, yes guys, you can store up towards that 100 GB. You can store up towards that 100 GB, guys. You can store up towards that 100 GB into a mobile phone. Now, you have been to a function or some excursion you have been, where you have clicked photos, in a camera, and that data you wanted to transfer it to your mobile phone now. Let's say. So when you wanted to transfer it to your mobile phone, the capacity of the data which you have clicked is, let us say, you have the totally 500 GB data. 500 GB data you have. Okay, you have shooted around 500 GB data. Now tell me, can you store this 500 GB data? Can you store this 500 GB of the data, guys, everyone? Can you store this 500 GB of the data in your mobile phone, which has a capacity of 100 GB? Is it possible to store it? Please tell me. Yeah?
No.
Guys, everyone. My question is that here you have, yes, everyone. Now, that is nothing but in a camera. This data you wanted to transfer it to a mobile phone, where the capacity of a mobile phone is 100 GB. Can you do it, guys? Yeah? Can you store the 500 GB data into your mobile phone? Where your mobile phone data is only 100 GB capacity. Yes, everyone. Please respond, guys. Yeah? No, we cannot store it. No, we cannot store it. So in this case, what is that you'll do? You will have an alternative. That is nothing but either increase the capacity of your mobile phone from 100 GB to 500 GB. So for that, what is that you can do? You can buy an additional SD card. Is the one alternative. So now again buying a SD card, that's okay. You bought the SD card and you have installed it. Now you are able to save it. Further, you have some more 200 GB of the data is there. So can you store this data again? No, the capacity is not supported. The maximum capacity, including the SD card, is 500 GB for your mobile phone. Now again, more 200 GB has to be stored. So in this case, what you will do? Every time buying a new SD card and all these things, it's a cumbersome process. So what you will do? We'll switch it to the alternative storage. So right now we are using the alternative storage as what? Google Drive, everyone. Google Drive, am I right? Storing the data into the Google Drive, where the default capacity of the Google Drive is 15 GB, but you can store up to whatever the limit you want by buying the storage. You can buy whatever the limit. So suppose you bought 1 TB, 1 terabyte. So once you bought the 1 terabyte capacity to store into the Google Drive by paying some additional cost, you can store this 700 GB data easily, very easily. Am I right? Now, so nowadays, even in a in a normal scenario, we are trying to store the data onto the Google Drive itself. Am I right? Rather than storing the data into the mobile phone. So now, whereas when we talk about the Google Drive is nothing but the Google Drive, guys, everyone. Google Drive is nothing but this is called as your, yes, guys, this is called as your what? Cloud storage. This is called as what? Cloud storage. And the data which you are going to store in your mobile phone, it is called as what is that? Yes, it is called as what? On-premises storage. This is called as what? On-premises storage. This is called as what? On-premises storage. On-premises storage. So now, rather than storing the data onto the on-premises storage, we are preferring to store the data into the Google, or that is nothing but cloud storage. That is called as Google Drive or any other thing. Now, what is the reason? We have the following reasons, guys. We have the following reasons, but I'll list out some of the important reasons why we are switching over into from the on-premises storage to the cloud. That is called as the first reason, guys. The first reason is the unlimited storage. When you want unlimited storage, at that time, you go with what is that? Storing the data into the cloud storage. That means you buy the space, you keep on upgrading your system. You buy the space and keep on upgrading. No limitation for it. Am I right? In the same way, guys, the second reason, the first reason is unlimited storage. The second reason is what, guys? The second reason is what? Accessing of data. Accessing of data irrespective of location. That means you have stored the data here right now when you're in India, and tomorrow you left for some other country. Let us say you have left for US. Okay. And you did not carry your physical device. Can you access this data, guys? Of course, without carrying the physical device also, you can access the data once you store the data into the Google Drive after going to the US. Am I right? So irrespective of the location of the data, you need not worry. You can access data from any location of the world if you store the data into the, that is called as Google Drive. Am I right? In the same way, the third reason I can say, guys, the security reason. The security. So now from security of data. Now from this point onwards, who will be taking care of the security of your data? Ultimately, the Google is responsible. Yes, guys. Ultimately, the Google is responsible. Ultimately, the Google is responsible. Ultimately, the Google is responsible for storing your data. Ultimately, Google is responsible for security of your data. Okay. So now the security of the data is the responsibility of the Google only. You need not worry about the same. So because of some of these reasons, we always try to store the data into the Google Drive or the cloud environment rather than storing the data onto the mobile phone. That is called as an on-premises environment. That means as an individual, when we are moving from the, that is on-premises storage to the cloud storage, we are moving from the on-premises storage to the cloud storage as an individual, guys. The same policy is being adopted by all the business entities by moving the data, from what is that? From the on-premises storage, by moving the data from the on-premises storage. Yes, guys. By moving the data from the on-premises storage to the cloud storage, So hence we can say, guys, we can move the data from the on-premises environment to the cloud environment. On-premises environment to the cloud environment. So in this case, guys, everyone, in this case, whenever you move the data from an on-premises environment to the cloud environment, this is called as, guys, the process of data migration process. That means data migration is nothing but when you move the data from the on-premises environment to the cloud environment. So this is called as a process of what? Data migration service, guys. This is called as what? Data migration service. Yes, everyone. This is called as a data migration service. And then what about the data integration and data summarization? Let's try to understand the same here. Okay. What is the data integration and summarization service? Okay. So for that, let us try to understand first of all what is the integration service. Then we will understand the data summarization. Now, guys, let's take an example of a supermarket here. Let us say you have a Reliance Fresh. Everyone, you have a Reliance Fresh. This is a supermarket. Okay, this is the supermarket. We have it. Let's say here you have a Reliance Fresh supermarket. Here you have a Reliance Fresh supermarket is there. Now, the Reliance Fresh supermarket is very famous for selling of all the fresh vegetables. Now, when it comes to the vegetables, so what happens? They will be getting the vegetables from across the globe and making it available to the consumers. Am I right? Likewise, let us say here, they have some 100 vegetables. Vegetable number 1. Okay, guys, vegetable number 1. This is cropped at, let us say, Malaysia. And imported to the Reliance Fresh India in Delhi. Okay, so whereas that means the same vegetable which is cropped at Malaysia has been imported and made it available in the Reliance Fresh Delhi. In the same way, the other vegetable is cropped at J&K, Jammu and Kashmir, India. That means this is cropped in Jammu and Kashmir and made it available in Delhi. Likewise, the vegetable number 3, this is, let us say, the same one is cropped in Madhya Pradesh, India. And in the same way, let us say, and farmed at the, there is nothing but cropped and cultivated at UK. And it is, being sold at the Reliance Fresh Delhi. And now, guys, here can you see? Cropped at various locations by the various farmers at various places, but under the one roof the same is available for sale for facilitating the consumers. Whereas what the Reliance Fresh is doing, Reliance Fresh is integrating vegetables or the fruits from various locations and making it available for the use of the consumers in Delhi. So we can say, guys, this process of gathering of gathering of the vegetables from various locations and making it available for use at a particular location. This is called as, what is it? The process of what, guys? Process of what? Data integration. It is called as what? Data integration. Data integration means what? Gathering the data in the various locations and making it available for the user to work on. That is called as what? Yes, guys, that is called as what? Integration process. That's it. Now, what about the data summarization process? Let's try to understand the same. Now, guys, when it comes to the next step of data summarization. Now, guys, you thought of cooking a curry. You thought of cooking a curry here. The task of the day is cooking of the curry, veg curry. When you thought of cooking this veg curry, guys, this veg curry requires some vegetables. Am I right? So for buying these vegetables, you have been to the Reliance Fresh. So are you going to buy all the vegetables available at the Reliance Fresh, or only those vegetables which are needed for you? Yes, everyone. Yes, are you going to buy all the vegetables, guys, or only those vegetables which is needed for cooking your curry? Yeah. Will you buy all or some of it? Everyone, I want a response, guys. Yeah. Are you going to buy some of it or all of it? Some of it as per your requirement. So let us say you bought vegetable number 1, and then you bought vegetable number 3, and then you bought vegetable number 5. Let us say you have 100 vegetables are there. Out of the 100 vegetables, you have selected only, yes, you have selected only 3 vegetables, 1, 3, and 5. So this is called as what? Selection of vegetables. Selection of vegetable process. Selection of vegetables. Now, guys, the further process is that once you have selected them, paid the bill, okay, and brought them home, will you start eating the same in the raw form? No, because we are human, and now we require, what is that? We require to process it by washing, cutting, chopping, and cooking. And once cooking is done, then we eat the vegetables. Am I right? So here we can say, what's it, guys? So you'll wash it, washing or cleaning. The next process, cutting and chopping. Then you start cooking. Guys, then you start cooking. So this is the process, you follow it. Once the cooking is done, then the vegetable will be ready. So can you say here, this process as transforming veg? Yes, of course, transforming the vegetables from the raw form to the cooked form. For changing the vegetables form from the raw to the cooked form, you perform all this process. And once the cooking is done, the curry will be ready. And you will start eating the same. Am I right? So for eating the curry, this is the all process you have to perform it. In the same way, in place of vegetables, if you replace the same, yes, guys, if you replace the same with the data, then what is the process you will have it? Let's try to understand the same here, guys. So now, here, which we call it as a selection of vegetables, here you have a lot of amount of data is there, but you require some records which is used for your task to achieve. This is called as what? extraction of data. So you pull in only those records which is required for you. And further, what you will do after the data is extraction, you will perform the transformation of the data. And then after transforming of the data, you will perform what? Loading of the data. Okay, loading of data. So whereas in this process, guys, what you will do in this process, extraction is nothing but choosing the list of columns and tables. Okay, that is called as well extraction. And transforming is nothing but as per the requirement of the end user, you have to change. Suppose the end user wants, here the end user wants ultimately the net sales amount. What is that? Net sales amount he wants. He wants the net sales amount. As the end user wants the net sales amount, for getting this net sales amount, guys, everyone, for getting this net sales amount, everyone, for getting this net sales amount, we extract the data, we transform the data, that is in the such a way that you get the net sales amount. And once the amount is extracted, you will put the data into the target system. So wherein this process, technically, we call it here as what, guys? ETL. ETL. Whereas the ETL is a very olden technique we follow. Right now, we are using the technique called as what? ELT. ELT, where extraction, loading, and transformation. So where these all are supported by the Azure. Now, guys, we have completed this process. That is nothing but data migration is clear, data integration is clear, data summarization is clear, and now finally the data visualization. Now, visualization is nothing but it is a process where we decide. Okay, once you eat the curry, you eat the veg curry. You'll talk about the taste or not? Yes, the taste is good or taste is bad or something you will talk. So this is nothing but unknowingly you're tasting the vegetable and deciding, yes guys, and deciding the factor of taste, that is nothing but whether the curry is good or not. So whereas this unknowingly you are trying to analyze and giving your decision that this fish curry is very tasty or this fish curry is not tasty. That means you are, how you are analyzing? By eating the same way here also to get the net sales amount. And once the net sales amount is extracted, suppose they want the net sales amount day wise. So net sales amount, what is that? The day wise. So I can say date of sales here. Let us say the date today. We have the 15th July. Yes, guys, we have the 16th July 2024. And the net sales amount is, let us say here, 2 lakhs. And you have 14th July 2024. It is 2,50,000. So which day sales is more? Which day sales is more? 14th July or 15th July? 15th July. So you will compare these two values and take a decision. Whereas comparing these two values and taking a decision is called as the process of, what is it, guys? Data. Yes, data visualization process. It is called as a data visualization process. The data visualization process, we can have it. That is nothing but called as what? In other words, yes, guys, in other words, this data visualization process, you can also call it as what? Analysis of data. analysis of data. So analysis of data is nothing but comparative study between two different situations to take the decision is called as what? Analysis of data. So as a part of this data engineering, guys, everyone, as a part of this data engineering, okay, as a part of this data engineering, we are going to see all this. What is that? Data migration, data integration, data summarization, and as well as the data visualization, all. And now, guys, when we talk about the ETL or ELT, ETL is nothing but in this process, in this example, you have many vegetables are there. Out of those vegetables, as you wanted to cook a particular veg curry, guys, as you wanted to cook a particular veg curry, what you are doing, the supermarket has gathered many vegetables, but for cooking your veg curry, you don't require all these vegetables. You require some of this. That is 1, 3, and 5. This is called as what? Extraction or selection of vegetables. Out of the list of all, you're extracting or you're choosing only those vegetables which is required for you. And next one, what is it? You have a transformation of data or transformation of vegetable. That means you cannot eat the raw vegetables. So for that, what you're doing, you're cutting, chopping, and cooking. So process is you're changing the form of the vegetables from the raw form to the cooked form. In the same way, you're converting the raw data to the proper form of data. That is called as what? Transformation. And finally, loading is what? Loading is putting the data into the target system. Whatever the data is generated, that you're putting it to the target system. So that is called as what? Extraction, transformation, and loading process. Yes, guys. Now, is it clear? Okay. So that's it, guys. So as a part of this course, we are going to see the following services of Azure. That is called as what? The first service is the ADF. And the second one is the ADB, Azure Databricks. And then we are going to see the Synapse. And then even we have the Fabric and OpenAI. So the Fabric and OpenAI, when we talk about this, these two, we just choose it here, guys. As a, we will be just seeing the, that is nothing but, that is the introduction on the Fabric and OpenAI, but ADF, ADB, Synapse, you're going to see in the detail. Okay. So guys, when we talk about the SQL Server, so somebody asked the question, in SQL Server, we have the partitioning and incremental approach. How do we do it in Azure? Partitioning and incremental loading. So here, what is it? SQL Server is nothing but the on-premises. SQL Server is nothing but what? On-premises. When you want to pull the data from the on-premises environment to the cloud environment, then we have to define some integration runtimes. That is called as self-integration, self-hosted integration runtime. And then we can pull in the data into the cloud as it is. And after getting the data, we can store it into the Azure SQL database. Azure SQL database is what? Azure SQL database is nothing but the Azure SQL that is SQL used in the cloud. SQL database used in the cloud is called as what? Azure SQL database. So we use it here, we store it here, and then further we process the data in the same way. Okay, so that's it, guys. And the duration of this course is 90 hours. Okay, 90 hours. Wherein the first, the 30 days we'll be spending on the ADF, then ADB, again the 30 days, and Synapse we will have 20 days. Okay, then Azure, OpenAI, and Fabric along with the project also we will see it in the last, that is in the last 10 days. That's it about this one. And the detail, the content structure, everything you can see it on the website. The same pattern we are going to follow it. Okay. Yeah. If you have any other questions, please tell me. So every day you will have the class from 9 to 10 a.m. This is the standard timing for the class. That's it. If you have any other questions, please go ahead and ask me. As such, we have not defined the contents for the OpenAI, but I will, as I said, I'll give you the introduction, how to integrate this process with the OpenAI, how to generate or how to build the dashboards and everything. I'll explain you. Okay, so that's it, guys. That means the Databricks you're using in Azure. Databricks you're using in Azure, that is Azure Databricks. Okay, so that's it, guys. Any other questions if you have, you can just please go ahead and ask me. Okay, so
How are we gonna talk about how do we deploy these pipelines? Uh,
obviously, we are going to see how to deploy the pipelines. That pipelines also comes under the ADF and Synapse. In ADB, you will not have the pipelines. In ADB, you will have the notebooks.
yes, yes. Notebook can be called from Azure Data
Yes, yes.
Factory,
Yeah,
and
notebooks can
data
be.
factories can be called from some triggers, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
how, I mean, we can have schedule trigger and all, right? But then
Yes.
how we manage this as a part of project? Like, are we gonna talk about what you call Azure DevOps or something where we manage the project?
Yeah. See, basically, we are going to see how to call the notebooks into the ADF pipeline, how to run it using the ADF pipeline also we'll see. That is called the integration of ADF and ADB.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but then how about environments like dev, QA, UAT, production? So
Yeah,
we have
that's also
different.
issue.
So how do we manage that?
How do you work in the testing environment? How do you work on the deploy? That is nothing but development environment and quality testing environment. Also, I'll tell you. Okay.
Mhm.
So the thing is that when you move the data from an testing environment to the development environment, there basically what you will have to do is in the pipeline itself, you have to make some settings change, and then you have to create a repository in the DevOps, and to that particular repository, you can move the data.
Okay, so you meant to say in trigger we can create a parameters and we can change the parameters as per the
Yes,
input.
yes.
But okay, and then now what happens is like in general production guys, right? They won't be having access to UI interface. Generally, they do it through some console, right? So
That we will
how
design it
how
for
this
test.
happens? How this
See,
happens?
yeah,
Mhm.
basically, what we do is we move the data. So once the testing is done, or once you want to move the data from the testing server to the production server,
Mhm.
at that time, what we do is at the time of the running this process, what you will do is you'll create a separate repositories separate
Okay.
repositories wherein we move the data from the after testing, we move the data to the production environment, and that repository you pick it up for the production environment and run it parallelly, because in the production environment you will not have any kind of the interruptions and all these things,
Mhm.
and production environment can work only on the trigger based. It will be trigger based,
Mhm.
not a manual debug process can happen there.
Yeah. So you meant to say when we will merge it, we can easily merge it like the way we are merging SSIS
Yes,
package
yes,
standard
yes,
traditional way.
yes.
Same also here we can merge this JSON Azure Data Factory kind of code, and then we can deploy, right?
Exactly.
Okay. And then for
Some settings has to be done. Some settings has to be done.
mhm,
That way, anyways, we will see in practical how to make it on all.
mhm. Okay, so we will learn this, right? Also.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, we'll learn this.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, guys. So that's it. Thank you everyone for attending. So we'll see tomorrow morning. We'll catch up at the same time. That is 9 o'clock. Yes, I'll explain you about the Unity catalog as well. Need not worry on this. Okay. See,
Okay.
I will just try to train you in, the best way as per the standards of the industry, what is really right now needed here. Okay. So that's it, guys, for the day now. And just we'll catch up tomorrow morning at the same time. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.